we go. Okay, Blondie Stillness. Join us on YouTube. Okay, Destination Decluttered on YouTube. I'll see you all momentarily. Bye. Boop. All right, there we go. Now this is what my hair looks like, huh? Wait, that's my hand. Okay, this is so counterintuitive. There we go. Gina made the jump. I love it. I love it. What I realized is my picture here that I see is way too big of me, and I want to say hello, Christine, in the club. I love that. That cracks me up. Isn't it funny how there's some of those, like, TikTok is the place where something can be a trend for a day, right? But sometimes we keep it in our lexicon longer than it does. So, yay, Melissa Phillips. Okay, Blondie Silliness on TT. Okay, so glad I found you. Here I am. So, yep, as people are jumping over, doing, doing, yep, do the bunny hop, 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 hop. Okay, so here we are for another hour, or some of you, it's going to be the first hour we're hanging out together, and you don't even need to hang out for a first hour. Shifting gears a little bit, not much, just there tend to be far fewer people showing up in the YouTubes as there are on the TikTok. So we have a small, cool crew of people. And this is where it's really neat that we can talk about things a little bit more in depth and a little bit more specific. Okay. So much like on the Destination Decluttered TikTok, if you have a declutter problem and you are stuck, what I want to offer with you is put it in the comments, but also before you do that, I'm going to give you the first 2 steps that will help you, which is going to be to scan down your human body. Okay. How are you feeling now? You may feel different than you did a few days ago. Okay. Or a few days ago. Yeah. A few moments ago, a few hours ago, a few, 20 minutes ago. Okay. Oh, Danielle. Okay. So I got rid of 2 of my drink koozies. Okay. So here's funny. Okay. Danielle on the TikTok, excuse me. Notice I have this one that was supposed to be we were talking about these ones. We only have 1 now. We had 2. So technically I have decluttered ours by 50%, and also some of our other ones that we have. There were some that I donated, and I brought them to the Goodwill yesterday. Somebody might want them. Okay. So a couple things. So yay, Danielle. I went through that when the Destination Decluttered TikTok that I just did is reviewed or downloaded and then uploaded to here on TikTok. You can rewatch it, but just know that I was true to my school. I said I did what I said I was going to. Okay. Now, all right. So Melissa, I see you, and this is going to help you. I had a feeling this would. Okay. Yay. Good stuff. Okay. So here's what I want to help you with, Melissa and everybody. The first 2 steps for anything are going to be checking in with your physical body. The physical body, because we're used to identifying something that doesn't feel right physically. I got to pee, I got to eat, I'm starving, I'm stuffed, my bra is uncomfortable, whatever physically, do something right now to change it if you're not feeling good. But just do a scan from your crown on down, and it can help to move your hands in this direction just to make sure that you're feeling okay physically. If you're not feeling at least okay physically, can you do something to change that? And I hope the answer is yes. All right. The next one, and this is where I want to help you with this, which is Melissa, nervous system overload. Okay. Before we even start with any kind of practical advice or whatever, getting your nervous system to a state where you're going to feel better, getting your nervous system feeling more neutral than if you're all revved up. Now notice, I can spot it. I can sense the energy that you're feeling by the words you use and the punctuation or lack thereof in a lot of people. Melissa is saying, my house is now a hoarder's mess, trying to hold on to personal belongings of my mom's who has advanced dementia and my daughter who just moved out. I'm stuck. So notice that feeling of stuck. isn't physical. Like, unless you are literally in, what do you call that stuff? Like quicksand. You may feel paralyzed, but you're feeling paralyzed because your nervous system is stuck in overwhelm. Too much. My stuff, my mom's stuff, my daughter's stuff. Blah. This is where I want to offer to you. Please feel free to write this down. Okay. I use the word down. Notice I just said write down as a reminder word to say, stop, hold on. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to calm down my nervous system. Notice the opposite right now of my hands going up and hands going down. Down in this scenario will mostly feel, it's all the stuff to feel better. So sit down, breathe down, and not just shallow. Slow down and breathe down deeply, down to the bottom of your lungs. And then slow down your exhale. Try to make your exhale twice as long as it took for it to get in. Slow down your exhale. In with the good air, out with the bad air. All right. Anything that's up, bring it down. Shoulders down, eyelids down. Nervous tension, relax it down. Quiet down your environment, however that looks like to you. Maybe it's shutting a door. Maybe it's just focusing down so you don't see the stuff around you. Okay. Melissa and everybody, this is such an important step all the time, because when you are in fight or flight, when your physical body and brain are in a reactionary, fear-based freak out, you're not going to have any ideas, and they may not be good ones. But nothing is putting you in immediate human danger right now. And if it is, get the hell out of the way and take care of that first, right? But notice the fear reaction, okay? Here, the fear reaction pops up often, even when there's nothing really truly to be afraid of except for too much of something. Now, the fear of too much is usually where we're hanging out. So we calm down. And part of calming down, there's two other downs I want to share with you. So you have kind of the 4-pack, okay? Scan from the crown on down is physical. Calming down is the nervous system. The other two get your body involved too, which is going to be writing down and then chunking down, okay? So even spending a few minutes doing this, okay? Notice, Melissa, hopefully you feel a little bit better by even just taking a minute to do that. And think about it, all of us, even if we're not activated into a nervous system overwhelm, we all benefit from breathing deeply and slowly. That gives our cells more oxygen. It allows us to see, and again, notice where we feel physically. Oh, I've been tensing myself up. I'm doing like the Thriller dance or something, and I don't even realize it. Shoulders down. Quiet down. Okay? And this is a beneficial practice all the time. But before you start any kind of project, this is especially important because that gets you out of fight or flight. But before you get into a project, you're at this nice kind of neutral zone. Again, instead of spinning your wheels in the car and revving your engine, you're slowing it down and you're okay with your engine on, but being in neutral. And this is where I use the road trip. Before we even start driving anywhere, we got to figure out where we're going. Okay. So helping Melissa, and I'm just going to take a quick look here. Okay. Oh, okay. Lady Bandit, this could help you because I know I started my day with a phone call that woke me up that my mom was sick, fear of mom's death. Thankfully, she's going to be fine, but my nervous system is still working on the chemicals of, oh my God, my mom may be gone. Now, you're saying it has thrown my whole day off. I am finally getting to work today. Here, you can also calm down. There's nothing to be afraid of. We are safe. Your mom is safe. Yes, and notice that when we have those thoughts, it can generate chemicals in our body that cause us to feel this way long after our brain knows that the thing that we were afraid of is past. We still have those chemicals coursing through our brains, as Kat Roby says, that bouncing and shaking and breathing down. Yeah, get that stuff out of you. Get that out of you. And even if you said, it has thrown my whole day off so far. So far. Calming down your nervous system. I am finally getting to work today. Yeah. Yeah. All righty. Ugh. Grandma's show. Why can't you get in the shower? Are you playing freeze tag? Here, I'm untagging you. I'm just do it. Don't make such a big deal of it. Make a little deal of it. What is the thought? I mean, I trust me, I know the I don't wanna thought, but how about this? You will feel so much better when you even get into that nice warm shower with the fuzzy lathers and the smells and the wash that crappy feeling off of you. Yeah. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking on the bathroom floor. Yeah. And Nikes just do it, but I say it with small lowercase letters. Just do it. What's the next step? Could you get yourself into the bathroom? Could you take off part of your clothes? Could you get into the shower with all of your clothes? It's not crazy, but you can allow yourself to be you can allow that thought and that whatever to take control, or you can regain control and get into the shower. Okay? You can do it. I know you can. I know you can. Okay? You let us know when you do. All right. But here, so Melissa, I want to get back to Melissa because she's freaking out about her. Yeah, you come to the right place. Yay, good stuff. So, okay. So, Melissa and everybody, hopefully now all of us are feeling a little bit more. Nothing to be afraid of here. We are safe. When you are feeling safe, you can relax a little bit. When you relax a little bit, notice your muscles tend to relax, but also your brain tends to go, all right. Whew. We don't have to be planning our escape from something fearful and death, whatever. And this is where writing down is going to help you. So I would even say, Melissa, you already articulated what you don't like. My house is now a hoarder's mess. I assume you don't want it to be that way. So this is where we would help define your destination, what we're aiming for before we even start. And I would write this stuff down. You wrote it in the comments. I would get my trusty notebook, just a plain old notebook, nothing fancy here, people, nothing to see here, you looky-loos. And I would just write down my destination decluttered. And I would, instead of noticing how it is, it's got this, it's got that. That is good stuff. That is good info. I will share with you, Melissa, what I feel like could be some starting points just to get you an idea of how to define your destination by even noticing what you wrote already. My house is now a hoarder's mess. What you want it to be is not a hoarder's mess, but instead of putting the not there, that still conjures it up. How do you want it to be? What's the opposite of a hoarder's mess in your words? And I would write that down. I want it to be, and let's use Mad Libs because I'm Gen X, adjective, adjective, adjective. 3 adjectives that are opposite of hoarder's mess. Okay? My house is trying to hold on to personal belongings of my mom's and my daughter's. So notice that you want something different for that. Maybe to not hold on to those things as much. Maybe you want space for your own stuff. Okay. So writing these things down will provide a calming effect also because you are slowing down the way you are speaking to yourself inside your brain at a rate that your hand can kind of take dictation. And I am a slow writer, and I want you to write it down legibly and ideally in a complete sentence. Okay. And yeah, destination. Dawn is saying peaceful feeling home. Okay. These are the three things officially that I encourage everybody to think of when you're defining any kind of destination, frankly. But let's start with your destination decluttered home, because that's where we're all hanging out. I want my home to look adjective, adjective, adjective. I want is always number one because we're visual creatures, and you know that because you're being triggered by what you see around your house. Okay. So addressing that is going to be important. The next layer down is I want it to function like this. Now, this is where we get into quantities and qualities, but I want to say this as just a general one. And I may be sounding like a broken record, but it's a good record. It's a good record, which is I want it to be easy to live in my house. Easy. Who doesn't like easy? Easy to find things I'm looking for, either easy to use the thing that I found and easy to put it away when I'm done. Easy, 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 lemon squeezy, squeezy, squeezy. How does it look? It functions easily. And this is my math problem, okay? Or not even problem, math equation. When it looks good and it functions well, equals it feels good. Okay, Christine is saying easy to clean. Yeah, I want it to be easy to clean. How do I want to feel in my home? Question mark is not something we are trained to ask. Usually it's about how it looks. And then it doesn't feel right sometimes, even when it looks good on the surface, because we've got stuff hidden around behind doors and stuff. How do I want to feel in my home? Adjective, adjective, adjective. Now, if you don't know what adjectives to use, you can mine your own you can mine your own mind for a few by using the opposites. And we like to play with the opposites here. It's like a fun new game from Hasbro. Okay. You've got, I currently feel stuck, overwhelmed, sick to my stomach. Not so good. What's the opposite of each one of those? Stuck. I want to be able to move around easily in my home. Overwhelmed. I want to feel in control, able to do things, not stuck. I don't know. Sick to my stomach. I want to feel good in my body when I walk around my house. So notice this is just it's almost like a creative writing exercise if you think about it. It's just a way of using some words to try to, as best you can, define what you want. Because we are verbal, word, and feeling creatures. And the more you define your destination, it's just like, honestly, think about this. It's like a letter to Santa. Santa, I want to feel happy and good. In order to do that, I believe the following toys on my list will help. So think about that. I want to feel good and safe and happy in my home. And I believe that getting rid of some clutter, doing some things to change my home will get that way. Does that help? I hope it does. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments. And if it does, let me know in the comments. Okay. Because it is so much easier to get to where you want to go when you know where you're headed. I can more easily think about this, even just as in a road trip. I want to go somewhere warm when it's cold out. That's me all over the place. Now, there are a lot of places that are warm out when it's cold where I live. But if I get more specific, I can make that happen. I want to go to Southern California, a little bit more specific. I want to go to Palm Springs, California. That's a hell of a lot more specific, but even then, at least that gives me a pin to put in my map between where I am and where I want to go. And that gives me enough of a line to get started with on that road trip. Okay. So Melissa, yay. I'm glad that's helping you. And notice what is probably helping you is doing the downs, the calming down method. So now you have that. Write down what you just did to make yourself feel better. Also, frankly, I've learned from a lot of you, which is great because I do these TikTok lives and YouTubes, and we have the email group and the pen pal group and all that. Feeling not alone, feeling like there's a community, that you're not fearful of being the freak that everybody else has figured it out except for me. I'm the only one struggling. No, you have a good crew of people here who are supporting you, and none of us really even know each other, but we're here because we know what it feels like to be overwhelmed by clutter, and we have learned to do some things to make it feel better. And all of us get tripped up on this. I get overwhelmed sometimes, and I have to tell myself, nothing is wrong here. I am just tired. Or I'll say, you know what? I'm not going to push myself anymore today. I am going to be happy with what I did, and I'm going to clock out, and I'm going to scroll on TikTok for a while. I'm going to feel good about what I did and not be fearful that I didn't do enough. Okay? So, knowing that you're not alone. You're not alone. My God. If I cared to, I could bust my business open. There's so many people I know that are struggling with clutter, but I don't like to hang out with everybody. I just like to hang out with the cool people, okay? That's why I do what I do, how I do it. And I trust that the universe sends me. All righty? There we go. Okay, Lady Bandit says that will be me at the end of the day. So what could you do to increase? So what time, Lady Bandit? Let's help. Specificity is your friend. At the end of the day, notice this. At the end of the day, what day? Today, I assume. What time would you like to stop and clock out today that you would feel good about? Write that down and practice that concept. Now, this is funny because you can tell I'm an old school person, because when I say clock it out, okay, 5 o'clock. Notice you wrote that down in the comments. Note to self in your own notebook. Stop working at 5 o'clock. Yeah. I love it. Destination decluttered. We arrive on the struggle bus for down duty. I love it. Yeah. Down dog. Downward dog. Calming yourself down. Writing down, get it? Writing down what you're going to do, and then keeping your promise to yourself to do that. Learn to be a person that you can trust, that when you say to yourselves that you're stopping work at 5, that you do it at 5. And I would even add, because it can't ever hurt to be more obvious, especially while you're learning these things. Clock out at 5 o'clock and feel good about it. Now, what I was saying earlier was the fact that I used to literally have a job where we had a card that you would put in. We would literally have a punch card in a clock to clock out. So oftentimes you will catch me going back to the 1980s pretty much and saying I'm clocking out, you know? So notice what you want. And if you write it down, writing it down helps you get what you want. Just like your list to Santa. Okay? Because you already know from inside you some things, and they don't have to be things like your list to Santa. And actually, if we're decluttering, the things that make you happy ideally shouldn't really be a lot of things at all. Okay? Yeah. So notice the difference, Lady Bandit. Even though I can't put in a full day, the old me would have worked tonight to make up for the time lost. Notice you're not doing that anymore, and that's okay. Yeah, not anymore. It's okay that I will feel good about the work that I did today between now and 5 o'clock. And I'm not going to be afraid that I'm going to get in trouble for not making up the time lost. Okay. All righty. There we go. McDoug's is better late than. And Laura Voorhees consolidated her jam jars. Check. Sorting cookie cutters. Half done. Noticing that don't seem to want to release many, but organizing them feels good. Yeah, noticing what you have, checking in, categorizing, and noticing what you have allows you to update your decision about the quantity that you decide to keep or not. Your decision, decluttering doesn't always mean reducing the number. Decluttering gives you the opportunity to look at your collections, look at the stuff you have, to decide whether you still want to keep something that you have kept for a while. Now, I did a similar thing with Laura Voorhees, frankly, is I have some cookie cutters that are Christmas cookie cutters. I rarely make cookies out of them, but I put little ornament hangers in them, and I have in the past hung them in the kitchen window. I saw them as I was going through my holiday stuff. I opened up the little Whitman sampler box that they live in because I freaking love a Whitman sampler box. And but then I have to watch it because I had too many. And then I said, you know what? I like you guys, but I just don't feel like putting you out this year, but maybe next year. And I feel good about it. Okay. You can feel good about hood. Feel good about your decisions, and you will be unstoppable. Now, this is funny. Now, Danielle says, I had 9 rolls of tape in my desk drawer and 2 more rolls in another part of the house. Now, that's a fact, but notice how we can tell how Danielle feels about it by her formatting, okay? Multiple exclamation points mean that you're feeling something. The word ridiculous in all caps also means that there's part of you, both of those things indicate a judginess about yourself. So isn't it interesting how we try to communicate to ourselves and others how we feel about a circumstance? I had 2 rolls of tape in my desk drawer, or 9 rolls of tape. It's a fact. You can choose how you feel about that. You can choose to make yourself feel bad about that, or you can choose to feel neutral. Okay, yeah, I get 9 rolls of tape. Mental note, don't buy tape for a while. No big deal. We said this the other week, and I think it's kind of fun, so I'll bring it up again. Notice the drama queen. The drama queen shows her hand by writing in completely long sentences with nary a punctuation to take a breath. The drama queens tend to use the dramatic emojis or the exclamation points, multiples of them, or the capitalization, or the words that imply judgment, being judgy. So just notice that. You have 11 rolls of tape in your house. Yep. You can choose how you feel about that. See, there we go. Wisps with Wendy. I have yarn everywhere. Everywhere is a drama queen backseat driver word. In my shed, my she shed, everywhere. Multiple exclamation points. Notice the overwhelm, the everywhere. It's all over the place. It makes me feel overwhelmed, but I love crocheting. So notice that. Notice, but let's diagnose. Let's pull apart your sentences to realize where your overwhelm is. Your overwhelm is not with your love of crocheting. It's the quantity of yarn that you own and where you have currently decided to store it, which is everywhere in your house and everywhere in your she shed. Okay? Yeah. So notice what you are doing, though. Your decisions of where to put your yarn has caused you to feel overwhelmed. So let's be as simple as where is someplace else that you could put your yarn that would not feel overwhelming? Wisps with Wendy. Where else? What is another place that you could put your yarn? And let's use the opposites, shall we? Notice, everybody. She says it's everywhere, a vague word, kind of general, and it implies kind of all over the place. What's the opposite? Somewhere, this one place. That's where it belongs. That's where it goes. Okay? Disrupting these thoughts and then pulling them apart also slows you down. It gets you out of judgment and first-handedness to be like, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah. And notice what other people have done because, again, you're not alone in this. Other people have been in your same situation. Wendy is with you. The other Wendy is with you too. I can get behind understanding having yarn in every corner, right? The other one, during my declutter journey, I donated bags and bags of yarn to various causes. Notice you reduce the quantity you have, and it felt so good to be free of it, I wasn't going to use it all. So notice how comforting it can be to hear a story from somebody who has let go of something that you own too, and they feel good, good about hood. They feel good about their decision to let it go. If they feel good and safe and they haven't exploded because they got in trouble, maybe that would be for me too. Maybe I would feel good. Let me explain. Let me experiment with that, and maybe give away one skein of 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 uh, of yarn. Put one of them in that I don't want anyway. It's not the color. It's not the texture. I'll put one thing of yarn in a bag that's being donated somewhere, and I'll notice how I feel when I no longer have that thing of yarn. All right, I don't have it. Feel pretty good. Maybe I'll try it again. All right. But notice it's the quantity is too much, sounds like, but also the way in which you are um, storing. The everywhere versus somewhere is also jamming you up. So we can address both of those. Okay. Yeah. Now, um, okay, it's funny. So Laura Voorhees is walking through this process with her cookie cutters. I feel like getting the cookie cutters into categories will help a second round, which, for example, I can look at my Christmas cookie cutters and decide maybe I don't mean multiple gingerbread people. Right. Yeah. So do I um how many of this kind do I have? How many of that kind? Do I have any repeats? That's a wonderful way of chunking things down and looking at them at a smaller, more organized fashion. Yeah. Yeah. Skein. Thank you, Wendy. Okay. I literally have um, knitted one thing in my life. It was when my husband and I were very first dating, and I wanted to show him how much I loved him, but I didn't have any money or I had very little money. So I learned how to knit and I knit him a scarf. I loved learning how to do it. It was hysterical. It was a great process. I think back on it fondly. And then he lost the scarf at some point. It's fine. We're married. But okay. So Wendy says, I found yarn in every room except the laundry, kitchen, bathrooms, and dining rooms, all three bedrooms and the living room. Even my car had yarn in it. So here's what you discovered, Wendy. An unexamined life, when you're left to your own devices, you were in the habit of. I love it. I am too legit to knit. I love that. That's great. Notice this, everybody. Here's a tool to put in everybody's toolkit, which is any habit you currently have or notice that you have that has caused a situation that you don't like the result of. I know that sounded awkward, but you know what I mean. Put it in the past tense anytime you mention it. Distance yourself from what you don't want. Notice the difference. Where was it? It was, she found laundry everywhere. It's like, I used to put, I used to have, past tense. I used to have yarn in many rooms in my home. Notice putting the yarn in multiple places, but that didn't make me feel good. So I stopped that and I changed it. And now, notice past tense, unwanted behavior, present tense, behavior you want. Now, what I do is put my yarn here. Okay? So notice that. Everybody, anything you have done that has given you a result you don't want, experiment with stopping yourself by identifying with it in the present and therefore carrying it into your future. Instead, put it in the past. You know what I used to do? I used to eat way too much, even if I was full, because I was going to tidy up the plate. I used to chastise myself and feel really beat myself up about a lot of things. I don't do that anymore. I stop it and I do something else. Now, Grandma's show says, how can I share this video with someone else? Well, we are live right now for the next 24 minutes. So if those people are available right now, I think you could probably send them a link to my Destination Decluttered YouTube channel and it would show up as a live. However, Grandma's show, if that person is not available in the next 24 minutes, the good news is on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel, where you are right now, after this live, you can poke around and you'll notice, and I'll even pop it up right here so I can effectively speak to it, is that there are multiple playlists of recorded TikTok lives and YouTube lives. This one, when after TikTok, or excuse me, after YouTube has processed it, it will show up in the December 2025 TikTok YouTube live recordings, and it will be the YouTube from Thursday, December 4th. It will be in the thing. Okay, hope that helps. Yay, Danielle. She has kitchen items, clothing, brand new deodorant, and Christmas items in the car to drop off to donate, and it feels good. Yeah. We are doing this in a way that feels good because that feeling of good will encourage you to show up and do it again. If it feels bad, you're not going to do it again. You're not going to want to show up for something that hurts. Okay. Okay. I love it. We used to use the word whip back in the day. I am trying to limit myself to one work in progress. So I have the yarn for that in my living room and my others stashed yarn in my spare room in my storage unit. But I need to inventory. Yeah. So notice that Wendy's are, and so one Wendy is inspiring another one, unless you're both the same person talking with two different things. I have multiple whips in progress and realizing, maybe what I need to do is, and this is a big thing for some people, I need to finish that one project. I want to finish that one project. Now, here's the hysterical thing, talking about knitting or crocheting. I was knitting. I loved the process. It was hard to get started, much like decluttering. It was hard to cast on. Once I got started, though, I was there and I was grooving. And man, that scarf was going to be very long, but I had to stop it at a certain point so it wouldn't be something that was wrapped around his neck. And also because I wanted to mail it to him and get it there before Christmas of whatever it was, 1999, 2000, something like that. I also had to learn to stop the project. So I had to call, my friend and I called her mother, and she literally talked us through how to get it off of the knitting needle and wrap it up so it didn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. So notice that starting can be a little bit rough. Doing the process can feel fine. But getting off of the process, concluding a project might present some challenges that stop you from completing the project. This is true for everybody. The stopping and the starting. I might have said it earlier today on this YouTube, or it might have been TikTok. Frankly, I've been talking for hours, so I don't even know at this point, but it's worth repeating. It's much like learning how to drive a car. Once you're on the road and cruising along is fine, but it's getting started can make you fearful, and stopping can make you fearful. Yes, casting off. That was it. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you got? We got 21 more minutes here. So notice that having a quantity of items, having a bunch of yarn, depending upon where it is, the number of skeins you have, look at me learning stuff, can make you feel a certain way. Where those skeins of yarn are stored can make you feel a certain way. And knowing kind of off the top of your head how much you have and what you have can make you feel a certain way. Okay. Now, I love this. McDubbs is saying, not just with skeins of yarn, but photos. Yes, I noticed I had photos in all different rooms. I had art supplies in different rooms. As soon as I set aside areas, notice it was all over the place. The opposite is a space for it. It became much more easy to focus and finish. Now, those are three words that I like: easy, focus, and finishing. Also, pardon me, my nose is itchy. I think I've been dry skin here. Okay. Now, Wendy says, I am struggling with only doing one project. I admin for a crochet educator, and the eye candy for patterns and yarns is overwhelming me for at a time. I am a work in progress myself. Right. Okay, Wendy, trust me. That squirrel and shiny object syndrome is real for many of us. Okay? So what I say though is practicing finishing something can make you feel better about starting the next project. Stopping the initial habit of starting something new and then having a whole bunch of half-done things. Practicing finishing one thing before starting another. Disrupting the behavior you have and experimenting and playing with something else. All right? Now, Grandma's Show says, I'm addicted to Amazon and ads on TikTok. I need to stop buying stuff. Notice what you buy and what's the story behind when you bought it. Now, I will share with you, this world that we live in now makes it so difficult to say no to something you don't want. Okay? And yay, McDoug saying you helped me with that, Beth. Yeah. So notice when you're about to go hit the button, what could you do to just pause and say, why do I want to buy this? Now, I catch myself a lot. I do. Those things are sticky and they are designed to get you to lower your resistance to hitting the button to buy the thing. They want us to buy. Those billionaires want us to buy stuff. Now, I'm not saying don't buy anything, but catch yourself if it feels like an addiction, that you're feeding your addiction to feeling good, you know? Yeah. And disrupting that behavior, catching yourself to even say, because this is a thing, if you feel good about your decision, you can allow yourself to hit the button. Yes, I do want to buy whatever that was that I just bought on Amazon. I believe that purchase will make me feel better. But if you are finding that you are buying things and you don't have a long-term feeling good about it, then catch yourself before, even right now today. It's almost like, I don't know, I never went to AA, but I'm assuming it's one of those things like, notice today when you are tempted to order something online and just catch yourself and say, wait a minute. Oh, isn't that interesting? What was it, that thing I was about to buy? What was it about that? What is it about that? Do I really need that? But it's such a good sale. I might want it. There's free shipping. Like they make it slippery slope. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Now, Lady Bandit says, I am like a squirrel when it comes to crafting. I jump from things to the other. Trying to stick one is hard. And I will also offer this, please. I don't want it to feel like a rigid torture. You should be enjoying the project you're doing. And if having multiple projects in process feels good, so you can bop to whatever one you want, depending upon how you feel, there's also nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and the squirrel, the dog from Up, man, does that resonate with a lot of people. Okay. Here's a funny thing, though. We just saw a dog the other day that was totally focused, laser focused on the squirrel. It was the squirrel. If you think about it, it's the squirrel that's bopping all around. It's the dog that's immediately like, wait, what? It can also be okay to have a bunch of things that are not done. You don't have to be so linear about it. So notice, you can choose to feel good about either scenario. I like having different projects in process because then I have the flexibility that when I have free time to craft, I can decoupage or I can knit or I can make the cookies. I get to choose what I want to do when I want to do it. Sounds kind of awesome to me. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I love it, Wendy. I have been working on the shopping. I will add it to my cart and leave it before buying. I have been good about going back to remove from cart so I can behave. Notice the practice. Yeah. I practice this especially when I've gone thrifting or when I used to go thrifting or even antiquing or, vintage shopping, is I have learned to project myself into the future. If I see something I think I like, I will do this. I will say, imagine if I left the store and didn't buy it. Would I regret in having not bought that by the time I got home? Even more so, and this made us buy a house. If I left and said, no, I'm not going to buy that, how would I feel if somebody right behind me ended up buying that? Would I be okay with that, somebody else buying it? Or would I be like, man, I should have bought that? Running yourself through different scenarios and seeing how they feel, projecting yourself into the future and kind of the choose your own adventure can help you. Yay. Yeah. Disrupting the if I put it in my cart, I must go to the checkout. Unless it's like raw chicken and you left it in the baking aisle, don't do that. Just put it away. You know what I mean? But notice disrupting an automatically assumed behavior of the order of things going into your cart and then going in there. Even parking the cart for a while reminds you that you have agency, you have choice, you have control over what you do. And just because it's in the cart now doesn't mean it needs to stay in the cart. Yeah. Yeah. So notice Wendy is sharing from her perspective. When I have a big project, I do like having little ones to break it up. Right. And again, that kind of chunking down. And then because when you have a big project, you can do a little bit and do a little bit. But notice the difference in that seems to work for you because you're comparing it to before I had dozens of projects. I was drowning in it. Now, she really wasn't drowning, everybody, but she had the feeling of drowning in it. Notice that feeling of being in over your head and suffocating and drowning. That is a verbal way of describing a feeling in your body of not good, of suffocation, of in over your head. Yeah. Okay. Wendy says, one thing I get FOMO over is limited edition stuff. I'm working on it. If I miss it, it isn't meant to be. Yeah. And Wendy, I will offer this limited edition stuff. That's why they create it. If it's a truly limited edition. So I'm curious, Wendy, is there a particular item that you could use as an example of one of these things that you are limited edition? Because here's an interesting thing. They put the people who want to part with the money. Oh, interesting. So yarn can be a limited edition thing. What I would say is notice the fear, FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh my gosh, that's limited. I better get it now before it's gone. Scarcity, scarcity, right? However, relaxing and trusting that I have more than enough yarn for the projects I want, and there will be other cool yarn available in the future. Notice the difference between fear and trust. Notice even my body is like hanging on to it, like, oh, quick, better grab that and get it now. Fear of missing out. That is a marketing trick by telling you that it's limited. Because if it wasn't limited, notice if they said there's plenty of it around, no big deal, get it when you're doing the project. I feel safe to know that what I want will be available when I want to use it. I don't have to hoard it. Okay? But notice that somebody has decided to create a limited version of whatever it was. And some of it is legit. Like if you're getting yarn that's off of a sheep and there's only so many sheep, it is limited. But then Do you already have yarn in your house? Yeah. Notice how that fear of missing out, that fear of not getting the good deal. I'm experiencing myself. I have bought more things in the past week than I typically do because some of those deals have been crazy good on things that I've wanted to try. But I own it and I feel okay with it. Yeah. Anniversary cakes. Now, I love it. Laura Voorhees. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We got about 10 minutes. Excuse me. Laura Voorhees says all cookie cutters are categories in baggies. Micro decluttering tasks could be just by going through one bag. Yep. So notice that. Notice you've chunked it down and then you can chunk it down further. Yeah. There we go. Wendy, notice that you can be psyched that somebody else has it, that somebody got it. So Wendy is sharing lots of colorways of yarn, can be limited edition. So I am just cheering on the people that use it. Like, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah. I love it. Yes. And it's totally about the dopamine hit. But what I want to say is that notice the chemicals we were talking about, the chemicals that swirl around in our body. When we're feeling overwhelmed, there's a certain amount of chemicals that cause us to do things. The desire for dopamine can be like an addiction to I want to feel that good feeling. Here's what I find though. Sometimes those things are like a one trick pony, a one note, like boom, I didn't have it and then I got it. And then you're like, shit, now what do I do with it? As opposed to wanting to do something else with it versus a longer term feeling good about what you have. Okay. It's like a dopamine hit to me is more like a sugar rush that can be then followed by a crash versus something that feels good and you feel a little bit more nourished by it. And nourishment and trust and abundance will always feel better long term and even just a better thing. It's not like a sugar spike and a crash. It's like, you know what? I trust that I have enough. And when it's the time for me to get anything I want, it will come to me. Notice that relaxed confidence that the world is working on your behalf. And also know the difference that if you really want something, get that and own the fact that you did it so that you feel good and it's not I'm only reacting to this because it's on sale. You know, catching yourself and knowing the different ways in which different decisions feel both short term and long term. I see this a lot, frankly, when I go shop. I don't go shopping. I said it once, so it might be helpful to somebody. I shop to solve problems. If I need more t-shirts, I'll go buy more t-shirts. If I need more socks, I'll go buy more socks. I don't often go just window shopping anymore. But when I do, it's typically when we are traveling and I will go and see some stuff in a gift shop, let's say, and I'll be like, oh my God, that's kind of funny. That's kind of cute. And then I think, okay, imagine if I brought this home, then what would I do with it? Like, it's kind of like a one, like, ha, oh, that's funny. Yep. Do I need to own this? No. Other things I'll see and I'm like, oh my gosh, I will regret leaving here. If somebody else buys that, I will fear that I missed out. I guess fear, FOMO, but like it's a different feeling. Notice the different flavors of that desire. How strong is it? And tune into that. All right. Yeah. Wendy is noticing those dopamine hits, those spikes and crashes are why I had a room filled with containers of yarn. I gave 8 lawn-sized garbage bags to the local, to me, Project Linus of yarn to use for good causes. I gave all of my half-used stashes to my daughter-in-law. She works at a school and the art teacher used them. So notice that being addicted to that dopamine can cause you to hoard and spend a lot of money on yarn that you ended up not even using yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Now grandma's show says, "Hey grandma, did you take a shower yet? Was that you? I can't remember who was supposed to get into the shower. Did somebody take a shower?" Okay? Another problem I have is getting motivated to get busy. Well, first of all, who wants to get busy? I don't want to get busy. I want to start moving in the right direction at a pace that feels good to me, you know? Yeah. Okay. So, everybody who needs to take a shower, just so you know, we've got about 6 minutes left here. Go take a shower afterwards. I took one this morning. I feel better. Okay. You will feel better too. You will move your body around. You'll stretch. You'll get nice and warm. You'll get nice and clean. You'll moisturize yourself. Yay. See, you did it. The thing you were afraid you couldn't do at the beginning, you did it. Rock on. So notice Grandma's show. You have a temporary jam up in your getting into gear. Okay. So getting busy, busy. Who wants busy work? No, you want to feel good about what you're doing and that it's moving in the right direction. Okay. So, yeah. And there we go. I love it. So, notice that if you're getting motivated to get busy, let's be a little bit more specific. And this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Think about it today, people. Every action you take today is leading you in a certain direction. Ask yourself if this is leading you in the direction you want to go in. It's the leading it or away from it. Okay. Cat Roby, kitchen and dining room tidy equals ready to clock out of scheduled Beth blinders. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So notice today that every action you take is leading you somewhere. And if you don't know your destinations, you may not even realize it. So if you know what your destinations are, you can determine whether what you're doing is going closer towards it or just by driving. You cannot drive both closer towards something and further away from it unless you back up. And even then, it's only temporary backup. Okay. And I love it. Kat Roby loved listening in on all the yarn talk, yarn and crafts. I love it. So this is why I say it can be so helpful to define your destinations. How do I want my home to look and feel? That's a destination. Is what I'm doing today getting it closer to that or further away? How do I want my body to look and feel? Am I doing something today to get closer to it or further away? How do I want my relationships to be? Am I doing something to get closer to that or am I doing things that are further away? But you don't know how to get closer to anything if you don't know what it is and where it's located. Okay, so I love this idea of reminding you that it's much like a road trip. That when you sit down and take a minute and say, where do I want to go? And then notice what comes up. And travel wise, I've got a list right here. All right. Yay, there we go. See, this is what I love. And we're going to sign off momentarily because I actually have to go pee. I've been sitting here for quite a while. So I'm going to sign off closer to just a few minutes. So everybody say your goodbyes to everybody. I love it. Wendy says, I am in a better place because of Beth and the Destination Decluttered community. Big hugs to all of you. Big hug right back. All righty. Christine from the West Coast says, thanks for the later live, Beth. Have a great day, everyone. Yep. I will share with you as I do this that on the secret page, where is it? I had it over here. Boop. Let me do this because I don't even know. So tomorrow, there's only going to be a morning TikTok. Okay. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, we'll be doing TikToks and YouTubes. Then traveling in between that and also after that, getting my eye surgery. So that will be to be determined. Okay. So what I will offer to you is a couple of things. When I'm not around, there are now when this is uploaded and today's TikTok are uploaded, there will be over 915 videos for you to choose from. Don't be overwhelmed. Just pick one. They're all awesome. Put one on you haven't listened to before or listen to one you've heard before and you'll pick up something new. All right. And also, if you want me to be your one-on-one coach, I am not starting coaching with anybody. Nobody is starting before Christmas. That would be nuts. But if you want to start one-on-one coaching with me after the new year, get in line. Not even get in line. Get yourself to be the first in line right now too. Okay. Good stuff for everybody. Yay, Sue. Yay, Kat, and all the Wendy's and Lady Bandit, Christine, everybody. Okay. I really need to pay attention to my human body right here and sign off and head to the bathroom. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow on TikTok. Have a great weekend. Do good stuff. You're doing good things. Okay.